What is going on, traders? Welcome back to the Traveling Trader. In this video, I'm going to be giving you 3 stocks that I'm looking at that have massive potential upside. 2 of them are more long-term in my opinion. One of them could be a little bit shorter term. You will want to stick around for those picks. But first, I want to talk about the market. I will give you a market update, give you an update on some of the plays that we have, whether there is still upside in some of those plays, and then we will get into those top 3 stocks that I'm looking at right now. So if you watch my last video, we talked about the banks and why the banks are set to potentially rip for the rest of this year going into 2022. There are a few catalysts for this. We talked about the Federal Reserve stress test on the banks, and they passed with flying colors. The banks could sustain multiple variations of recessions just fine and continue to lend to the economy. And I said that this will likely result in bank stocks performing 2 major actions that will send their prices higher in the mid to long term. 1, they are going to issue higher dividends. And 2, they are going to be buying back large amounts of stock. Because they passed the Federal Reserve stress test with flying colors, that means that the cash they have on hand is enough to do those 2 things. In anticipation of that, we bought JPM short-term calls. We also bought a JPM call spread. We closed those JPM calls for 175% this morning, or morning in the US, it's actually evening here. And the call spread is up 60%, which we will likely hold until expiration. Some folks will want to close it at 60% and whatnot. Now, the reason that I suggested you take a look at XLF, which is the financial ETF based on the S&P 500 financial sector, is because of this as well as the inflation story. I do think that rates will raise in 2022, or at least they'll start talking about raising rates in 2022, which is good for bank stocks. So that is why I'm bullish on bank stocks for the rest of this year, leading into next year and beyond. And the second major market shifting news is the COVID variant called the Delta variant. Now, we saw airline stocks and travel stocks take a dip yesterday. That dip is actually continuing today. And I did issue a warning in the Discord saying that a lot of the travel stocks are forming this double top pattern that we see here, and we will want to wait for support before buying in. However, I do want to buy the weakness on this because I believe that the Delta variant is overblown news. I'm not a doctor, don't listen to me. I'm just saying, based on the news that is currently reported, that yes, vaccinated people can get the Delta variant and a ton of vaccinated people are getting it, but that hospitalizations are not on the rise. So as a matter of fact, the major vaccines that we do have in the market today are actually protecting against this Delta variant. Again, I said I'm not a doctor. I'm also not a fortune teller, so I can't tell what other variants might come in the future. But based on the news that we know now, I want to buy the weakness on travel stocks here. This is a buying opportunity, in my humble opinion, for the very long term. And even though the S&P and Dow Jones dropped a bit yesterday due to that news, and the NASDAQ actually ripped because that variant doesn't really affect mega cap tech stocks, you do see the market bouncing back today with the S&P, Dow Jones, and NASDAQ all up. So at least for today, it looks like the market is also in line with that thinking that the Delta variant is likely not going to affect the markets in the long term or affect any of the reopenings. Even though some countries are banning travel from other countries, it is not a macroeconomic event. Okay, so the first stock that I'm looking at is BARK, ticker symbol BARK. This is called the original BARK company. I'm looking at the 1-week chart here, seeing that BARK has actually found support around the $10 mark. Now, that is not the only reason that I like BARK here. BARK recently landed a bullish rating from Citi with a price target of $16, which represents almost a 60% upside. This is as recent as yesterday. They are projected to grow by 91% over the next 2 years, and they committed to reinvesting those profits back into the business to grow thereafter. I guess it would help explain what BARK actually is. It is a monthly subscription service that provides dog products, services, and experiences for a monthly subscription cost of $23 to $35 per month. They have over 6.5 million customers, 1.1 million active subscriptions, and they have about $375 million in net cash on their balance sheets. You mix that along with the technicals, and there is a compelling growth story here. And because we are buying near major support, this is on the weekly chart, remember, you could set a stop limit at really close to your entry. You can even set a conservative stop limit at around the $9.50 range. More risky traders will likely set it at $9, but there is definitely room in my long-term portfolio for this stock. All right, stock number 2 is a stock that sold off based on an overreaction. And if you're a fan of this channel, you know I love trading these types of setups. Vertex Pharmaceuticals, ticker symbol VRTX. There was a major head and shoulders spotted on the 1 day. It confirmed with a breakdown back down to support, which used to be resistance. This is called an SR flip. We actually bought calls on Vertex last week, sold them for 42% profit. By the way, if you want access to all of our trades, link is in the description below. Would love to have you guys. We send out our options, stocks, crypto, sometimes futures, even trades in the Discord group, and you get to be a part of an active community with thousands of members discussing trades all day, every day. But you see the bullish MACD forming on Vertex. You see it bouncing off of this support level here. It was also upgraded by Citi with the $285 price target, currently trades at around $198. It continues to beat earnings. It is already profitable. Again, I said this was an overreaction. It was an overreaction due to a phase 2 result of their VX-864 drug. I'm not even going to act like I know what this drug does. It treats alpha-1 antitrypsin deficiency. I'm not a doctor, I just like trading stocks, so don't ask me what that is. But in all seriousness, their growth story is in their gene editing vertical because they have an expanded deal with CRISPR, as well as their cystic fibrosis franchise, which analysts consider to be a growth story all on its own. To me, this one is more long-term. They do report earnings at the end of July, and we could see an earnings run-up, but I do like Vertex here at this price. I will likely be setting my stop limit around the 182, 183 range. All right, and stock number 3 is related to the infrastructure bill. The last video I talked about TAN, and since the last video that I did, TAN is actually up almost 8%. This is an ETF that is based specifically on solar, but there's another ETF based on clean energy that I think could be a huge story in the infrastructure bill going forward, and that is ticker symbol ICLN. Now, I'm not going to buy this one immediately because of the technicals. See, this is where technical analysis helps. I want to wait for ICLN to either close significantly above the 100 MA or get rejected back down to the $21, $20 level, at which point I will be a major buyer of ICLN. Because it is forming this head and shoulders here that hasn't quite been confirmed to me. But this stock used to trade at $34, and this was before the infrastructure bill. So imagine if the infrastructure bill contains a lot of conditions regarding clean energy and any sort of clean energy legislation or regulation or requirements that comes along with the bill. So pay attention to what I'm saying. I'm not buying here. In full disclosure, you can buy if you want to. I'm not buying ICLN here. I'm going to wait until we get a confirmation above the 100-day moving average, which if it closes above 24.50, I would say, or if it gets rejected back down to the $20 to $22 range, then I will be a dollar cost averager in ICLN for the long term. This is not a swing trade. Anyway, traders, I hope you got something out of this video. If you did, leave it a big fat thumbs up just like this. Leave it in the comment section below. Let me know which one of these stocks you are trading. And if you want access to all of our alerts and the vibrant trading community, link is in the description below. We have been absolutely killing it lately. We had those calls on Bark, on JPM that I was talking about before. We have a cash secure put on SoFi that is up 40%. We closed the cash secure put on CRISPR that was up 97%. We took an L on the American Airlines calls, but overall a very successful June for the trading group. So congratulations. Subscribe to the channel, hit that notification bell. Stay safe out there, traders. Peace.